Today we're here at Hansen's on the Coast Highway for the second installment of the Sponsor Spotlight series. Today we're going to be talking to Mr. Josh Hansen. He's going to give us a little insight into the history of Hansen's, a walkthrough of the store, and, most importantly, we're going to thank Hansen's for their kind donations to the Boardriders Club. First of all, we want to thank you for your generous support of the Boardriders. Donations help the club to put on contests, special events for the community, and clinics to train the next generation of surfers. We are truly grateful for your support. Your father's is a real surfing success story, but it started in a rather unlikely place. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, my dad, Don Hansen, grew up in Redfield, South Dakota, and had a couple of fraternity brothers that lived in Coronado and asked him to come to San Diego. So he came out here, fell in love with the ocean, decided he wanted to be a surfer, went back to Redfield to get organized, and then ended up back in San Diego, where he lived in a van and started chasing waves up and down the Southern California coast.
How did your father learn to shape surfboards?
My dad learned to shape surfboards. He originally learned from Jack O'Neill, actually. He was in the Army, based just outside of Carmel or Santa Cruz, and learned there. Eventually came down to San Diego. He started working for Hobie Alter, and while he was working with Hobie, he was then also shaping a few of his own surfboards. So that's essentially how he learned. His first few surfboards that he shaped, he did in Hawaii on the North Shore, basically to pay for his living expenses while he was over there. And that's kind of how the Hansen brand started.
Your father's story overlaps with some other famous surf personalities, like Jack O'Neill. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, geez. My dad knows most of the pioneers of surfing. Greg Knoll comes to mind. He was super close with Greg. Greg was a great guy. I was blessed to be able to spend some time with Greg. Such a character. My dad was actually on the beach for the famous Greg Knoll picture at Pipeline. Mike Doyle. Mike was our first professional surfer, and I believe my dad paid Mike Doyle, and Mike was the first paid professional surfer. So yeah, Don had a lot of surfing accomplishments, and I think honestly, when I look back on some of those accomplishments, it helped the business because it just gave the business legitimacy and authenticity. I mean, he truly was a surfer, but the one thing that my dad did have was tenacity, and he was definitely not afraid. He would push the envelope, and even today at 88 years old, he continues to push the envelope. So now we're here in the main side of the store. This is actually our women's section. So lots of women's product, bikinis, all the major surf brands, Billabong, Roxy, Viore, Z Supply. We got a bunch of women's brands. Very popular part of the store.
Do you guys want to take that out for you?
And then here's our main register area. So this is kind of our busiest part of the store, and this actually is the original building. My dad built this building in, I think, 1968. So yeah, this was the original part of this particular building. Hansen's actually started in Cardiff in 1961. And then in 1968, they moved up here. Now we're into the men's section. So a bunch of brands, all the legacy brands, Rip Curl, Quicksilver, O'Neill, one of the title sponsors of the Boardriders Club, Encinitas Boardriders Club. All of our Hansen stuff. So Viore over here. And then we will go on. Now we're into our footwear section. So lots of sandals, all the shoe brands, Olakai, Vans, Reef, Globe. And then we come into what we call the boardroom. And this is an area of some of the more edgy surf skate brands, like Rourke. Florence is a newer brand. Volcom obviously has been around for a really long time. We got Brixton, Jetty, Ruka. We also have all of our sunglass brands here. And then the most important and fun part of our store business is board shorts, wetsuits, and then our surfboard area. So we stock about 500 surfboards at any one time. And yeah, we got all the major brands or labels, and then a bunch of local shapers as well.
Thank you again to Hansen's for their support of the club. And next time you're in downtown Encinitas, be sure to stop by to check out some of the new summer merch.